Harry Arnslinger was the head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. He held a federal police post longer than anybody in U.S. history, other than J. Edgar Hoover. His words of wisdom that you just read were the basis for the war against marijuana. Unbelievable nonsense. Hello, we meet again. This is part 2 of Loss of Freedom in the United States in my lifetime. I ran that Arnslinger piece before this video to kind of give you an idea of the tone of what I want to talk about. Mr. Arnslinger held a federal police post, like I said, longer than anybody other than Hoover. And he was a maniac. I mean, the man was completely, insane. You smoke a joint, you're going to kill your brother. And I think we all realize now that the drug war was based on racism and cocainized Negroes and all this horrible racist crap that came out of this guy's mouth. I don't think he'd do too well today in the political correct climate. Like I said, got a little paralysis, so you got to bear with me there. The drug war is one of the finest examples of loss of freedom. If I can't run my consciousness, if someone else is going to do that for me, then what freedom do I have? How can I claim liberty? Someone says to me, well, if you take that pill, I'm going to put you in prison. Well, there's got to be an economic reason for everything. I don't believe that the drug war was ever, in any shape, way, or form, to protect anybody. It was initially, I think, that horrible genetic trait in human beings to want to control the behavior of others. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's the alpha male or the big monkey wants to beat the small monkey into his way of doing things. But whatever it is, it's surely not based on logic or compassionate feelings for other people. None of that is even coming into play. I mean, the logic is, to me, let's say that 10% of everybody in the United States is a junkie. They wake up every day with a needle in their arm. I don't believe that's true, but let's say it is for the sake of this argument. Now, if you want to protect these people from their own bad habits, what a price to pay. I mean, we destabilized third world countries. We turned Mexico into a free fire zone. There was some very good books years ago by Arnold Trebek, Stephen Wykowski, Michael Levine, Deep Undercover. There's a great book, kind of old, but still to the point today. So you take a drug war. If we were to take all the money and resources to help these people that have these substance abuse problems, instead of persecuting them and prosecuting them and locking them up and all that, we could send them all to Yale University. Who God knows, it could be skull and bonesmen before it's over. So this idea that we need help to regulate our own lives is ridiculous, and to me, fascist to the core. Arnold Trebek once said that when drugs are illegal or are made a way to make money, you take some young person in an economically deprived area, and he goes, okay, who's got the new car? Who's got the Range Rover out there? Well, it could be the drug dealer. Now, the drug dealer is an example of him, the way to escape the responsibility of getting educated and doing something productive in life. It's an easy way to go. Now, most people aren't hardwired for serial bank robbery. So the drug dealing seems to be a way that they can do it, and also it's accepted by their peers, and they themselves get the Range Rover. But anyway, it undermines, as prostitution and gambling, undermines the work ethic totally to so many. It robs them of a productive life, and also adds to the the destruction of people's lives through the prison system. Because once you're in the prison system, you're done. You're a done deal. So if you don't have the freedom to run your own consciousness, it always aggravated me beyond belief that some fat cigar-sucking alcoholic up in Capitol Hill, popping his Haldolls, is telling me what I can do and what I cannot do with my consciousness. If you've ever read the Carlos Casanetti's books, you'll find out that there's uses for drugs that go far beyond getting the buzz and going to the drive-in. And it's that arrogance and that concentration, to being talked down to all the time. It's unbelievable. It has nothing to do with freedom. It has nothing to do with freedom. So when I look at the drug war and the horror that it does, now of course with this kind of video I could talk, go on about all the numbers and the expenses and the prisons and all. But like I said, once again, you don't need me for that. You can look up all that information. But how long are we going to lock people up and destroy their lives for substance abuse? And I know why, because it makes money. Like in the first video I did, it's all about the money. They don't want to empty the prisons. So in that regard, there's no freedom. You have no freedom. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I live within the mutual boundaries of responsibility to those in my community, you have no right to interfere with what I wish to do. Okay? That's why democracy is such a horrible idea. In democracy, 51% can tell 49% of the people what to do. Look at the Federalist Papers. Look at the Constitution. That old document that no longer applies. But take a look at it. It talks about a constitutional republic where 99% of the people cannot remove the rights and freedoms from the 1%. You protect the 1%. You protect everybody. Follow? Okay. So the drug war is an absolute, think about it. When you look at the people who support the drug war, Parents for Drug-Free Youth and all that crap, who backs them up? Where do they get their money? Distillers? Brewers? Pharmaceutical house? I think it'd be hard to sell a Valium if you could buy a bag of good weed at the state store. Okay? How about prostitution? I never understood this either. I don't like prostitution. I think it's abhorrent. I think a woman who prostitutes her body for money is the result of probably a long line of abusers and users and people with no compassion for this person. Anyone who would want to sell their body to a stranger to feed a drug habit or to survive or to feed her kids, horrible. I've never wanted to have sex with a prostitute. I never understood it. You drive down the street, and there she is standing on the corner with her, well, you know what I'm talking about. My God, who drives by and says, boy, I'd like to, have sex with that woman, right? So where are we going with this? There's no compassion for that woman whatsoever. Let's look at it this way. If it was legal and it was regulated by the state where she, took health inspections, all of a sudden, guess what you can do? You can pinpoint this person in need, and that's what she is. And you could say, well, while you're signing up for your prostitution license, we also have drug rehab. We have ways to help you vocationally. If you need help, it's here, so forth. Harm reduction, compassion to that person. All right? Why that doesn't happen? I've known policemen, and they tell me they get more brownie points by arresting on vice charges than picking up a burglar. I mean, since when did the police do all this church work? Right? So, even when it comes to your own body, you are not free. Okay? There's people in this world that I love. And let's say that I got cancer. And I said, you know what? I'll go on eBay and put up my corneas, my kidneys, whatever can be salvaged. Well, that's against law. Did you know this? You can't sell your kidneys like this. You can't sell your corneas. So who owns my kidneys? Who owns the organs of my body? Me or the state? Well, it seems like the state. But once I die, they can harvest the organs and make all the money they'd like. You see a trend here? Okay? And gambling. How ridiculous. It's my money. If I want to play blackjack and if I want to gamble, do I need Big Daddy? Do I need Big Brother, telling me basically when it comes to drugs, prostitution, and gambling, that no matter how much harm it causes in society, how many thousands and thousands of people die in these ridiculous drug wars, and all the hell and ruination that it brings to people in their lives. They're going to continue to do it because it's just not the money, I believe. It's that malignancy in human nature that wants to run somebody else's life. Believe me, I don't care what you do. Okay? As long as, like I say, you live within the mutual boundaries of responsibility to those in your community. You can paint yourself blue and run around the house at night in a G-string. I don't care. Okay? Don't care. Could care less. Because that individuality that you're expressing may be, lunacy. But then again, when you suppress individuality, you suppress really the evolution of human thought. I mean, to be different is a crime these days. Have you noticed this? To be different is to be a criminal. Everybody's homogenous. Everybody cares what other people think. The moment you really start caring about what other people think, then you're in a prison. You've lost that ability to express yourself because you're afraid of what other people think. Forget that. Just stop worrying about what other people think and concentrate on what you think, and what you think is the decent way to go about things. Right? I did a video once about healthcare, talking about loss of freedom. I was talking to alternative treatment or naturopath physicians, and they would say things like, well, I can't say the word cure. I can't say this. I can't say that. So, well, who tells you can't? And they go to the people that run the allopathic pharmaceutical complex. Everything has a pharmacological answer to any problem you got. Now, talking about a drug war, the most dangerous drugs you'll ever take in your entire life is the one the doctor gives you. I think by the AMA's own admission, 100,000 people perish by using the drugs that they were given to by the physician as the physician prescribed it. I think the number's a lot higher, like Actose. You take Actose for diabetes, it causes bladder cancer. You take Actose, you die of bladder cancer, boom, guess what? You died of bladder cancer. No, you didn't. You died of Actose. The most dangerous thing you can do is go to an allopathic physician for any chronic metabolic disorder, because they're all myopic by design. They are to feed a business model. Okay? Just like cancer. Ask any oncologist, most of them will tell you if they themselves had cancer, they would not take chemotherapy and radiation. Okay? Radiation's for bombs, not for human beings. There's other ways to do it. There's a physician called Stanislaus Berninsky in Houston, Texas, who has a higher clearance rate of brain cancers and other cancers through his neon plaston treatment than Sloan Kettering. So if nothing is based in logic and everything's based on this horrible, gangster attitude, just to, mow people, put people in the meat grinder for money, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Look at cigarettes. They said in North America they're going to kill 400,000 people. Have we heard that so many times it no longer means anything? Is that really what it is? 5 million dead worldwide? I mean, if you was going to ban anything, it would be that, right? I can't even get my mind around that. Okay, so if you think we've had loss of freedom just all the time, all my life, and now it's getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, I think it was Benjamin Rush. I could be mistaken, but he was a physician who signed the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, one of those things. Like I said, you can look all that up yourself. But he said, you know what? One day there's going to be a monopoly, even on your health care, who you can talk to, who you can't talk to. So I'm going to do some interviews with people and try to bring some light to what's going on. But all I'm saying is, please, you don't have to agree with me on everything, but agree to do this. Take a good hard look at what's happening in this country. Start talking to your neighbors. Start talking to the people at work, and perhaps together we can say, see it with new eyes, hear it with new ears, that type of thing. Because we are in trouble. We are in serious, serious trouble. And before long, I'm lost for words. Okay, the idea of what's really happening is so mind-boggling. It's just almost impossible to grasp. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you later. Long live freedom. Long live the Constitution.